Hello there, YouTube. It's one thing when we're all having a bad day and we get irked at the people that are laughing at our own misfortune at our expense. It's totally another when the tables are flipped over and we can laugh at someone else's FML moment. This is Top 5 Best, and on today's list, I'm counting down 10 hilarious examples of people having a bad day. For this list, I went around town ruining things from everyone, from blowing up mailboxes to sending death threats to male kindergarten teachers. After the heat died down and the cops' trail turned up cold, I complied everything I had done and narrowed down the top 10 best examples. However, before I get started, don't forget to drop a like on this video, and hit subscribe so that way you can keep up with all of our daily videos. Also, we try to respond to everybody in the comments, so if you know of even more hilarious examples of people having a bad day, or if you have a personal story of your own that tops all the entries on this list of when you had a bad day, then let us know down in the comments below. With all that said and done, I am your ever lovely and ever sexy narrator, Gentleman T-Rex. Let's begin, shall we? Number 10. What we have here starting off our list is a teenager who doesn't have time to get tied down to a long-term relationship and is breaking up with his girlfriend while chowing down on some Cheetos. I mean, she's taking the news pretty poorly, but he seems content, not even bidding a care in the world that he just ruined this poor girl's day. No doubt a rampant insecurity is coursing through her mind, wondering what she did wrong and what she can do to fix their relationship. I mean, he's clearly chosen junk food over you, honey. Maybe this isn't such a bad day for you after all when you factor that part in. That he told you to meet him on the side of the road in front of the convenience store and asked you to sit down on the curb while he ate some Cheetos and with his mouth full looked at you and said, I mean, yeah, this is pretty dark for the two of you despite the opposite emotions. But it could always be worse. You could always throw away your dignity and decide to stay with the guy who broke up with you while he ate Cheetos on the side of the road. I mean, I'm sure no one would judge you for that life choice. Number 9. Irony at its finest. Hey, at least we know that this driver wrecked their car at the perfect place to give them treatment almost immediately. That's a good thing about hospitals. If you have a heart attack in one, well, that's the best possible place to have it at because you know help is literally all around you. I can only imagine this driver thinking they parked their car when they smashed into the side of the building and going, hey, we're here! I mean, forget the health insurance, let's just hope he has good car insurance and a forgiving eye doctor who, let's be honest, probably had this happen in their office more than once. Imagine the shocked look on the driver's face when they're given glasses and see their parking job. If the vision is that bad, I probably wouldn't let them leave the parking lot. Number 8. Comic books famously asked, who watches the Watchmen? The real-world counterpart to that is this photo, which asks, who puts the fire out on the fire truck? I mean, do they even train firefighters for this sort of thing when they're in school? Is this a paradox of a question that breaks the code of the universe? Oh god, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? My truck's on fire! Oh god, even the water's on fire now! Oh, we're the fire department! Ah! Smoke the bear's on fire! Ah! That must be a shame for your fire department street cred, and it carries with it when you have to call for the next town over's fire department to come put out a fire in your own truck. Like, how does that even happen? Shouldn't fire trucks be built to, you know, not actually catch on fire? There's a bunch of water in them. Did someone accidentally fill up the water tank thinking it was the gas tank? I'm still on fire! Ah! Number 7. We all have that moment in our lives when our hearts sink faster than the Titanic when we're hit with some sort of god-awful realization. Case in point, number 7 on our list here, which may trigger some of you who are currently in school. Nothing feels worse than realizing you failed a test, but who can top that? Studying and getting ready and, feeling so good, having full confidence in yourself that you know you'll ace your final exam only to realize that you got the testing dates mixed up and you get a cool 0% failing grade. I know the feeling personally, kids. However, mine's on a bit of a different level. My daughter's date of birth was one day, but I thought it was another, and I got a similar series of texts from my wife, and I realized that I got the dates mixed up when she sent me a photo of our baby girl while I was at home watching DVR'd episodes of the Murphy Brown reboot. It's cool, we've all been there, though, missing the birth of your first child. Oh, I'm gonna get divorced soon, I'm sure. Number 6. Hell hath no fury than losing a round of Uno. Hell hath no even worse fury than losing a round of Uno to a smug-faced piece of human trash child. It's a proven fact, children are terrible people. But the world always evens itself out. To compare it and put it into context of global thermonuclear war, there's a doctrine of military strategy called mutually assured destruction, or simply MAD. That says that when one side launches their nuclear missiles to attack and obliterate an enemy, their enemy will do the same to them, thus completely wiping out both sides and leaving no winners, only losers. Pretty sure that's the plot of Fallout, and if that's the case, I'm totally ready for this. However, Uno is the same way, in that when you constantly lay down draw 4s, draw 2s, and skips to a player, he's only going to see red, and not red in the card game. You see, kids, life is funny sometimes that it'll do our revenge work for us and deal us a hand that's going to wipe that smirk off of your enemy's face. Kinda like how the US and Russia would have wiped each other and the rest of us off in the face of the planet. To harken back to the 1983 Matthew Broderick classic movie War Games, when it comes to games like Nuclear War and Uno, the only winning move is not to play. But you just really want to play, they're really fun. Number 5. Being handicapped sucks. Being handicapped at a concert sucks even more. This photo, whose caption was, "My view of Metallica from the handicap section at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, 7-hour drive for this," really speaks volumes of what kind of a-hats people can be. I mean, no one should rip off their shirt for a Metallica concert when it's almost the year 2020. These two guys never once bothered to check their surroundings to see that behind them, they were obstructing the view of a person who also paid money to see Metallica. A similar thing happened to me when I went to go see my son's football team get destroyed by their rivals, but instead of complaining about it to the guys in front of me who also took off their shirts and started cheering for the opposing team, I just told them, "Thank you." Number 4. Oh, here we go. See, Bob Ross wasn't kidding when he said, "We don't make mistakes, just happy little accidents." In this case, a happy accident for the rest of us, while the original sculptor is probably still sulking about this one. And what it started out as, I'm guessing, as a clay sculpture of our Lord and Savior, only for someone to accidentally knock it over and turn him into an orc from the Lord of the Rings. Oh boy, you don't get to see the personification of the money you're pouring to go to art school get zipped down the drain like this when your magnum opus gets turned into a caveman. But hey, let's call a spade a spade, the image on the right is far better than the one on the left. I mean, we're always expecting a sculpture to look like someone, but when you subvert our expectations and give us a happy little accident, well, you get a point for originality. Number 3. Everyone's worst social nightmare. See, when a public bathroom is empty and you gotta drop a mad one, we prefer the luxury of the handicap stall because we're selfish monsters. I mean, there's just so much room. The guy in the next stall over is a good 3 feet away from you instead of 3 inches. And 99% of the time, there aren't many issues, until you hear the bathroom door open up and instead of footsteps, it's wheels on pavement. Uh-oh, and what feels like a plot for an episode of Seinfeld, we get number 3 on our list here, taking a photo of being caught red-handed as an actual handicapped person, waiting patiently for a fellow brethren to come wheeling out of the stall when he's done. Thing is, you and I both know that isn't going to happen. Like, what do you do in this situation? Lie and say all the other stalls were used up and you really had to go? I guess that's all you can say, and you better hope the actual handicapped person hasn't heard that one before. And if you can't come up with that lie, I can only imagine how awkward that will be when you walk out of the stall and face your shame. "Oh, sorry, I didn't know it was the handicapped stall. Sorry." Number 2. Typically when we hear a loud noise in our car, we can assume it's either the engine, a tire blowing out, or our kids screaming again. We then pull the car over and investigate the source of the noise or take off our belt, and it's pretty cut and dry. Most of the time, sure, something may throw us off for a loop when we pop open the hood, but you should be able to pinpoint what the cause of the noise is, because if number 2 here on our list, you may actually want to relocate to a new town. That's because the driver thought it was the tire blowing out, but then realized that it was a bullet from a drive-by that narrowly missed taking his life. Oh, that's cute, knowing that a person in a car shot at you and almost killed you. Alright, I saved the best for last, but first I have a quick challenge that only takes 5 seconds to complete. So if you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just give it a try, it really works. However, amazingly enough, that isn't worse than number 1 on our list, and speaking of, number 1. Oh, God, this is the thing of nightmares. Like, literally, this is the only stuff your mind feeds you when you're asleep. Can't even begin to process how this must feel, knowing you were so close to winning the money in a lottery, but to be off by literally every single number just by 1. I mean, we all know the odds of winning the lottery, but what are the odds of losing the lottery when every number you picked was off by 1? I don't know, man, this one's pretty brutal. Being given a fake winning lottery ticket from your family is cruel enough, but it's a whole other level when God does it to you. And that was our list for today, everybody. Like I always say, if you did make it this far, make sure to hit us up in the comments below, as we always try to respond or even just to say what's up. Also, don't forget to drop a like down below, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, everybody.